Hi again folks, here we are again. This is the Class 9F locomotive that Toby sent me. I thought we'd have a look at it and see if we can sort it out. So I've just popped it on the track here, and if we turn on the power, you can see that the wheels lock up. So obviously we've got a problem with the wheels, and also the motor sounds a bit rough. The end of the motion bracket here is actually broken, and I think that's causing a problem with the linkages, and I think that's probably what's causing the wheels to lock up. But we'll take it to the bench, we'll take it apart, and we'll see what we can sort out. So yeah, the end of the motion bracket here is broken and kind of bent back, and I think that's causing this to lock up. So we'll get it all to bits. An awful lot of oil in there. That should come out. So this part here is the part I replaced on Andy's Evening Star that I worked on, but I looked online and there is one available and they want about 18 quid for it. No, so I think it might glue. We'll give it a go. We'll try and glue it. So let's get this off. It should now come out like so. There's a little piece of clear plastic there. What's that been doing? Right, so these parts actually look okay. So I'm pretty sure that if we can fix this, just glue that back into position, it'll be okay. I've got some industrial grade super glue, which I'm hoping is more like the stuff of old, the super glue I used to use when I was into aero modelling, that actually worked. So get some super glue in there. Just hold that, and hopefully that'll fix it. Right, let's have a look at the rest of the chassis though. It's all a bit, I've got a new manky brush. It's a clean brush at the moment. It'll become a manky brush, but at the moment it's clean. So let's give this a brush out. Let's take this off, because this spring is annoying me in this thing. It looks like the spring's been overstretched. You know, once a spring is overstretched, you ain't getting it back to what it was. I think what we'll do is snip a bit off it. Like so. Just see if that puts that into slightly better position. That's better. Right, okay, we'll take this under frame off. To get a look at the axles. Ooh, we've got a broken underframe. Something else to fix. Okay, these screws out. Ooh, why have we got a little copper washer there? Is that meant to be there? Right, okay, so we need to fix that underframe, and let's just have a bit of a bump up here. It's not overly lubricated, just giving the axles and the chassis a bit of a mop up, just to get rid of some of the old oil. And let's put some power lube in. Righto, I'll get some super glue on this. This is industrial strength super glue. Just mop off the excess.
Just to see if this stuff is any better than the Gorilla stuff or Loctite or all these other off-the-shelf super glues, which just don't seem to work as well as super glue used to. There. That's what should happen. You know, you put the super glue on and it should be pretty much glued instantly. Yeah, I would always leave it a while to really harden, but you shouldn't have to hold things together for any length of time or tape it together. So I can recommend this stuff. It's OOBill industrial grade super glue. Get it on Amazon. Okay, before I fit the underframe, I'm just going to give this hole there a bit of a blast out, because there was a bit of oil in there that you don't want, and I want that body fixing screw to make as good contact with the chassis as possible. Alright, okay, what am I doing? Let's get that out of the road. Right, okay, this should go that way round. Make sure my wheels are sitting correctly. It's not quite sitting right. I should go like that. Should go like that. Okay. It's fine. And we'll pop these screws back in. Never ever over tighten underframe screws. Oh, we've got a problem here. Maybe spotted another problem. I think we've got a loose wheel. Yeah, we've got a loose wheel here. Thankfully it's on the insulated wheel side, so it'll just be the plastic bush. Let's just get this valve gear out of the way, and then we can undo this. Yeah, the plastic bush is cracked. The plastic bushes tend to perish. They get oil in them. Let's see if I can lever this thing off. You know, it's just not the best. There we go. You know, these little plastic bushes just disintegrate. I think I do have spares that will fit this. We shall have a look. I thought I had spares, but I don't. So that's kind of paid to fixing this today, I'm afraid. We'll just need to put all this aside and order up replacements for those. So I'm just going to check, actually. That one's loose. That one's okay. That one's okay. And that one's okay. So there's this one's loose as well. So we'll get some replacements and we'll get all that sorted out. In the meantime, we'll have a look at the Ringfield motor, which is, oh, it's very, very dry. God, I don't think there's any lubrication in there at all. Let's just take this apart and see what the story is, but because I'm not repairing this for someone, I'm just doing this for myself, I am not going to video overhauling another Ringfield motor. I'll just crack on and do it, and that'll be that. But let's just see if there's anything weird going on that might be worth showing you. But the commutator looks pretty normal. It's all the same old story. The motor's in good condition actually, everything's intact. Traction tyres are good. So yeah, you know, it's another Ringfield motor that needs sorted out. I do think somebody's been in here before me though. There's marks on the chassis there where somebody's been levering. We'll see what state the spindles are in. Just take the gears off. See, they're a bit dirty and there's no lubrication on them. Yeah, spindles are okay. This one's a wee bit worn. That one's alright. So it'll be fine. It just needs the usual treatment. So I'm going to crack on and do that, and I'll order up the bushes, and if I can get a replacement for this that doesn't cost a fortune, I'll get one, because you know this takes quite a bit of pressure and I'm just a bit nervous about how well that'll withstand super glue, but we'll see, we'll try it. But in the meantime, I'll crack on with this and I'll start videoing again once I've got those bushes. Okay, a day or so later, I've got some spare plastic bushes for the wheels. So we shall take a bush and push it into the wheel first of all. Make sure that's pushed all the way in. And then we'll set the wheels on this side to 12 o'clock. Piece of tape on there to stop them moving. And then we can put this wheel on at 9 o'clock exactly. That'll just about do it. Okay, so that's the this wheel sorted. Now I think this one was loose as well. Yes, it is. So we'll get this wheel off as well. Ooh, jings, 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 jings. That's come off the spline on the other side. That's not what I wanted or expected. Okay. Yeah, the plastic bush is all cracked, but I'm very concerned that it's also come out the non-insulated side. Couple of taps of the hammer and we're there. Right, okay. Right, so I need to get this old bush out. So, just all cracked. Put the new one in. It can be a very tight fit. There we go. Just give that a little tap to make sure it's right in. And then again we put this on at exactly 9 o'clock. I know you're probably thinking I should be putting this in a vise to clamp the wheels, but I actually prefer just using 4 fingers and just clamping it, squeezing it in with my fingers. You can feel how much it's moving, and with a nice fresh bush you can actually bend the wheel if it's not quite aligned. So that looks fine. Let's get this crank pin in, and fingers crossed none of the other wheels work loose. Okay, so I think we've got the wheels on, and I think they're spaced okay. This one at the back is maybe a little bit wide, but it's not too wide. So I think what we'll do is we'll get all this back together and see if it works, because I can't test it until I've done that. Right, so that's going to go in there, fit in there, so that looks okay. That looks okay. So let's screw this down. Now, moment of truth. And they all turn. And there we are. Excellent. Right, what's next? So while I was waiting on the replacement bushes, I've serviced the motor. Just gave it all a good clean, and oil and grease, and I think that'll be absolutely fine. It seems to work okay. So what have I got to do? We'll need to get some oil into the linkages. That's one thing we will have to do. Do you know what? I think we're done. Oh no, the pipe. That's what we've got to do. Got to glue this pipe on. Alright, so it goes on there like that, and then on there like that. Easy peasy. We'll get the industrial strength super glue and pop some on. There we go. That's the pipe back on. Okay, so I've done one last thing here. I've taken a little bit of wire and I've wrapped it round and round the body fixing screw, and then taken it round and soldered it to the copper contact on the drawbar here. And that's to improve electrical contact between the chassis and this contact, which in turn improves contact to the motor. I did the same thing on Andy's Evening Star, and after a little while this wire broke. And I tried a little bit of guitar string, and that seemed to work quite well. But I found it was kind of not flexible enough. A little short piece of guitar string is quite springy, and it was, forcing, as it was going round the curves, it was forcing the locomotive in one direction slightly, and not ideal. So I changed my mind and went back to a little piece of wire. And I think if you keep the wire, originally I had it very straight, a wire going from there to there, very straight. And I think that was why it broke. It was too tight and too, as it flexed back and forward, it just broke the wire. But I think if you leave the wire a little bit loose, put a bit of a curve in it, I think that's fine. I'm pretty sure that'll be okay. Now, let's see if we've got a working locomotive. Well, it's going in both directions. Let's go and stick it in the layout. Okay, let's add the power slowly.
Okay, that seems to be running really nicely. I've hooked it up to my BR Maroon coaches, so let's bring it out. So there we are, that's this old 9F running again, and I have to say, it's running really nicely. It's making a slight, almost chuffing sound. I'm not sure if that's coming from the linkages or the tender, but I don't mind. Gives it a little bit of character. It's not an offensive sound, and as I say, it's because it's almost a chuffing sound, that's absolutely fine. So a quick recap on what I did with this. I serviced the motor, rebushed a couple of the wheels, sorted the broken motion bracket, fixed the front bogie, and yeah, give it a good clean and an oil, and added a little wire to the connector on the drawbar there, just to improve the connection between the locomotive and the tender, and it's running very well. So thanks very much again to Toby for sending me this. Really appreciate that, and it was it's been fun to get this running nicely. I have to say, I really warmed to the 9F. It was a locomotive I was never that keen on, because of that really odd big gap between the body and the wheels. But I've really warmed to it, actually, having played with the Evening Star and now this. I now really like it. So there we go. There's my 9F. Okay, folks. Catch you later.